What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Oh boy, we've got a hell of a video today. August 23rd, 2024. Sony did what we told them not to do, and they released the visual herpy that you are currently seeing on your screen, Concord. Well, I want to talk about how the game is performing right now, about a dev so full of entitlement that they can't take what they dish out, and then finish off with how I think the shit stain of a game is going to go. So if that all sounds good, be sure to sub to the channel. We are so close to 2K subs, and let's get on with it. So I thought I would switch over to more of a, live sort of reaction for this, right? And if you look at the Steam page, you're actually going to see the reviews. It says mostly positive, right? 77% of 277 reviews are this game are positive, which, I'm not gonna lie, kind of surprised me a bit. If people are enjoying the game for what it is, then fuck it, you know? There's some people in the reviews saying that it feels a lot like an OG Overwatch, to some people saying that it feels a lot like Destiny, or a low budget knockoff of MCU. There's like a lot of different things that people compare it to, and to see it in a mostly positive state, in my eyes, is actually better than what I thought it was gonna be. But you're seeing the low amount of reviews, and you're probably thinking to yourself, how many people are playing this though on PC? And then when we come to SteamDB, Jesus fucking Lord Almighty, it has not even surpassed 700 players. It is hard stuck. It is hard stuck in the triple digits. And if you think it couldn't have gotten worse than this, all right? If you think, oh, well, like, hey, it's bad, but at least it can't be worse. Well, turns out, ladies and gentlemen, it absolutely can. Shout out to Tom Warren for the photo, by the way. Gollum, Lord of the Rings Gollum, easily the worst game to have come out in the past 5 years. That had a higher player count on launch than Concord. And you would think with the amount of money and the amount of dev time Concord had, you would think that the game would actually be in, at least 1,000 people playing day one on PC, but no, absolutely fucking not. And I want to say, and I think I said this in my last video about Concord, it is because the entry point for this piece of shit is $40. Seeing that Gollum had a higher player count on launch than Concord right now, it is just, that right there should tell Sony everything they need to know about these kinds of games. And the fact that they were fucking dumb enough to ship this out to the public thinking, well, this is gonna sell consoles, yuck. No, that is embarrassing as all hell. And speaking of embarrassing, let's talk about one of the devs. Before I talk about the dev, I do want to say this. Do not go out of your way to harass this person, okay? Once they finally unlock their Twitter account and they just start freely tweeting again, do not seek out to harass this person for what I'm saying in this video. Literally, all this person does is just run their mouth, and then they block people and say, huh, you gotta pay me $8 to unhide your tweet there, bud. Yeah. So shout out to Gimme Banhammer for posting this photo at least, because I find it fucking hilarious when these devs want to just hurl insults at the people buying their game or playing their game, and then when they go to receive a little bit of criticism back, they just block their fucking Twitter account. So I want to give a huge shout out to Hershute for posting this photo, because this is the one that I actually want to talk about, the one that got a lot of people talking about the dev to begin with. She writes, apparently the Concord dev is a fucking asshole. No offense to them, but why are more of these devs acting like this when they know it ruins their reputation? And honestly, I have no idea. Guys, listen, if you are a dev for a studio, do not, by any means, go on Twitter and start picking fights with these people. So I think the first post that Xander put out was, hey, I'm so glad that I got to work on Concord. It's a little bit of a rough launch, but I'm just so thankful for this, so on and so forth, right? Then we got Casual Combine here saying, I'm so sorry this has to be your first. I do not believe it is you or any of the other devs' fault that this game has performed so poorly. And honestly, it's really not. I can tell that a lot of effort was put into completing this game, it just came at the wrong time and genre. And you know what? I don't think I gave Concord enough credit, because there are some aspects of the game that are really well polished, right? I don't know them off the top of my head, and maybe if I do, I'll throw them in the video, but there is a little bit of polish and a little bit of effort that went into Concord. It's just Sony completely fumbled the ball with it on every single level imaginable. So then we got Xander coming in with the response, and they say, I don't really care. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Now, if this is where that tweet ended, it would have been a fantastic response, okay? Xander, you would have done yourself and a lot of people good if you would have just left it there. But instead, You just had to squeeze in that final word, didn't you? Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, I could hear about the few billion people in the world just face palming at the idea that you would say that. So you're calling the people that bought your game and maybe had a little bit of criticism about it, right? You're even calling me a talentless freak because I don't like the game that you worked on. Yeah, hey, Xander, guess what? Tough shit, bud. I don't think the fucking game is good. And then Tuggernut comes in with the quick and swift, talentless freaks. I actually came to drop some positive criticism, but get fucked. Clearly based on the game, you're the one with no talent. Oh shit. You know, Xander, do me a favor after this, okay? Don't unblock your Twitter. Actually, I would recommend that you just deactivate your Twitter and never show up again. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to talk about in this segment of the video, at least. I'm gonna go back to the scripted part. Yeah, fuck Concord. I don't think I did a good job actually showcasing the extent that this game has gone to be so unattractive to play, right? I know I mentioned Gollum. That was even a hard pill for me to swallow, and I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan at all. But it's just the sheer audacity that a game that bad did better than this game. But let me put this into perspective with some other titles that you are familiar with. Courtesy of Paul Tassi from Forbes.com, shout out to you, by the way. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. A $200 million game. Okay, $50 million more dollars than what it took to make Concord. Launched with 13,000 players. Redfall, Arcane's biggest disaster to date. A game so goddamn bad that Phil Spencer went on a podcast and pretty much admitted how bad it was. Even that game launched with 6,000 players when it came to Steam. Skull and Bones currently has around 1,500 people playing it every day on Steam. That's double to triple the amount of players that are on Concord right now. All of these games mentioned, Gollum included, some of gaming's biggest flops we've seen in the most recent years. Even they managed to have a level of success that Concord can't even obtain now that it launched. Even the goddamn beta for Concord had more players, and it was probably because it was free. In fact, I think that was the only reason why it had more players. And like I mentioned in the recording, the game itself shows an underlying polish, but I don't think I mentioned where it starts and where it stops. It starts when you launch the game and see the amazing mocap and how the cinematics look. Seriously, this is where the game shines the brightest, and I feel like they spent too much time on this. But then it screeches to a halt when you get into the multiplayer. The game somehow feels worse than what it did when I participated in the playtest, with constant hitching, frame rates that feel like I'm playing on a goddamn Xbox 360, hit reg being on par with X-Defiant, the guns feeling unbalanced. The fact that Sony thought this was gonna do numbers is baffling to me. Like, how do they go from spitting out a gem like Helldivers 2 and then immediately turn around just to shit this game out? I've seen games like Madden and college football drive more console sales, and those aren't even flagship titles for the PS5. At least I don't think it is, at least. Now, in all fairness, we don't know the PlayStation numbers. Okay, this could be cooking on PlayStation for all we know. I see some people using this as a gotcha for us PC players when we bring up the success of Concord, or the quote-unquote success of Concord, I should say. But someone on Reddit said it best. If a game does badly on PC, then it's about the same, if not worse, on console. Or if you're from IGN, numbers don't mean shit, apparently. And I will say that sentiment is true for some games, but for a game like this, no, it means everything. Trust me. This game is absolutely embarrassing, okay? And the rumor going around is that it's gonna go free to play in about 3 months or some shit. It needs to go free to play tomorrow. It's not gonna save the already tarnished reputation it already has, but maybe with a free to play price tag behind it, it'll stop Sony from shutting this shithole down in like 12 months from now. Don't spend $40 on this game. I wouldn't even spend $10. Fuck it, $5. I wouldn't even spend that. Wait for it to go free to play, and if it never does, you were never really missing out on anything much. I don't wish that the game would shut down because that's gonna put a lot of devs out on the streets and without jobs. I hate that. We already have a lot of devs that got fucking let go already. It's just, it's astonishing to see what the industry has come to. This game does not have a long life ahead of it. I can sense it, I can feel it, and if it shuts down within 12 months, I'm not gonna be surprised. But now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about Concord. And while you're down there, be sure to smash that like button and review bomb that sub button so YouTube can show you my content free of charge. And as always, I wanna give a massive shout out to the members of the channel. I deeply appreciate the extra support y'all show me every month. I don't feel like I'm deserving of it most times, but I'm thankful that I have y'all. Thank you so much. This is Sir Blackout signing off to go refund this fucking disaster of a game. Okay, I would rather lose my money in the stock market than to buy this game again. Later.